Hello, and welcome to today's live chapter reading of Romance Under Aquarius by Danielle Jax, presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Prologue. Aquarius is represented by the water healer. Legend has it the lost city of Atlantis will be discovered by a member of my family, the Colombo family, I say to the beautiful lady sitting on my lap. I tell the story to all the pretty girls in Haiti because I love the Caribbean island and I need it to hold some truth. Conning rich people out of money is how I afford to stay here, and this is where I need to be. The Marriott Port-au-Prince is one of my favorite hotels, and it's why I chose Laura as my date for tonight. She's booked the hotel for her stay in Haiti. Tell me about your last treasure hunt, Kyle. She seductively bites her lip. The first rule of making someone believe a story is to keep it simple. Kyle is not my name, but it begins with a K. Imagine days at sea with only a gallon of water left and the sun beating down on your skin like a punishment from the gods. I was almost ready to give up. My mouth was dry as sandpaper and my energy was low from lack of nourishment. I thought I'd failed. My time was up and I couldn't carry on. I paused for dramatic effect. But then a magpie plucked a small ring box from the sea and dropped it right at my feet. A magpie? She asks with a frown. I chuckle lightly. I easily become bored with spinning the same bullshit. So even though it's risky, I like to test the limits. You know, those little birds like shiny things? I say in a condescending tone. Women seem to respond well to me being an asshole. Well, yes, in England I've seen many of them, but not here. Her voice is wavering like she's unsure of herself. Have you been out into the deep sea while in Haiti? I ask, trying to sound interested. Laura is at least 5 years younger than me and doesn't seem like the fishing type. At 20, I probably didn't know the difference between a carp and a haddock either. Now, most of my diet consists of what I can catch on the end of a rod. I went to a party on a yacht. Her little pouty lips smile like this is something that will impress. If only I could be so carefree. I can't remember the last time I went out just to have fun. Ah, honey, you're too precious to see the magpies. She adjusts her position on my knee, and I'm close to losing my target. These women like my bad attitude, but maybe I've drifted too far with this one. All I'm saying is, you have too many important things to do to look at boring animals. You've worked hard to get this holiday. You deserve a relaxing break. The tension in her shoulders evaporates. Yes, you're right. Carry on with your story. She smiles again, satisfied with my answer. The ring box was made of silver, and that's what attracted the bird. I dived into the sea to take a closer look. Sure enough, like a shiny beacon, there was a whole box of jewels. The days and nights I'd spent in the rough sea paid off when I took the treasure to the museum. They were so grateful for the donation and confirmed it was from the lost city of Atlantis. Rich people like old money. I always mention a charity, so they think I'm one of them. I thought that was just a myth. I pushed my shaggy blonde hair out of my face. Did you dream of unicorns and mermaids as a little girl? Sure. What if I told you one of those two things is real? Part of growing up is letting go of those fantasies. She doesn't look convinced. Only if you want to. The sparkle in her eyes says she's imagining something she wants, and maybe I can give it to her. The illusion of a holiday romance with a rich entrepreneur is what most women want when they come to Haiti, and I don't think my companion is any different. You have an interesting outlook on the world and an amazing job. Will you take me to the museum to see the treasure? There it is. She's putty in my hands. Time is something I can't offer. Sorry, no, I can't. We only have tonight. I'm going on a long expedition tomorrow. Ah, she pouts. I don't fly home to Essex for another week. We'd better make the most of the time we have. I take her glass of wine from her hand, placing it on the table before kissing her. Let's go upstairs, she says. I give her a wicked smile and she falls straight into my trap. Lead the way. She takes hold of my arm and we walk to her room. As we enter, I quickly scope the room for its inventory. I spend the next hour pleasuring her until she finally falls asleep. I wipe down the surfaces and get rid of every trace of my presence. Then I help myself to her diamonds, rubies, and cash. Once I have everything she can offer, I make my exit. The streets of Haiti are lined with poverty hidden away from tourists. People only want to see the beauty and not the cruel world hidden beneath the surface. I visit the local shop and buy some fresh bread and vegetables. I take some of them to the orphanage or I leave it outside the door before heading home. You're a disgrace. Dad would be ashamed if he could see you right now, my older brother Owen says as I empty my pockets onto our small round table. We've got to eat. I'm not proud I have to steal, but I don't have another option. Fresh fish is the only thing I can get for free, but it's not enough to survive on or pay our rent on our apartment in the metropolitan area of Port-au-Prince. You need to make an honest living. When I agreed to come here 7 months ago, I didn't think it would make you a criminal. We both worked for a tech giant back home, but we didn't realize we should have been saving every penny rather than blowing it all on insignificant things. Here, those skills were useless because we don't even have a smartphone between us. We're back to basics with a barely functional old Nokia. I can't work and take the John boat out if I'm on land. I need to be in the library doing research. I'm going to follow another lead tomorrow. Laura had a guidebook that contained a picture of some rocks I want to locate. I have the coordinates, and once it's light, I'll set sail. We should go back to London. The doctors might have missed something. He coughs into his hand. Modern medicine can't help us. Nothing short of a miracle will work now. Pancreatic cancer doesn't just disappear. You can't be cured by science. I'm a desperate man willing to go to extreme lengths. A pain tugs at my heart. I can't lose him. The lost city of Atlantis is somewhere near these Caribbean islands. I can feel it. Just give me one more time. The doctors warned us he'd be lucky to survive until the end of the year, but I won't give up until his last breath. God waits for nobody, he coughs again, and I help him into his chair. His once lean body now looks too thin, but I push away my worry. I'm not giving up. The research I found on the zodiac signs looks promising. I'll find the jug of Aquarius, and using its healing water, I'll make you better. I can't hide the desperation as it seeps into my words. He closes his eyes, and I'm as tired as he is. I find a blanket to wrap around him before kissing his head. I'll save you. I pat his hand, but he doesn't move. His breathing slows as he drifts into sleep. I pick up the tatty old book that inspired our trip and read the passage that has given me hope for the last 6 months. A land dweller and a fish will heal the world. One sip from the Aquarius jug will heal time. It seems like nonsense when I first discovered it, but there are references to the legend throughout history. Ganymede's story of being the water healer is the one I have to trust and believe. I think the Aquarius jug can turn back the clock and bring youth back to cells. I'm not talking about a strong anti-wrinkle cream. I think it can cure cancer. Breaking down the quote, if I can find the fish, maybe I can be the land dweller. Then together we can find the jug. My brother's life literally depends on it. Once in the bathroom, I run the tap. It's hard to see my reflection in the dirty mirror. I rinse my hair before wiping the glass. My sun-kissed skin isn't from days of relaxing by the beach. It's from the hours I've spent in the ocean. My blue eyes look tired, and I look older than my 25 years. I need to save my brother. It's the only thing I'm living for. The lost city of Atlantis may only be a fantasy for some, but I have to believe it's real, and mermaids live there. I think the fish in question is a mermaid, and the city is their home. I have to find the water bearer, or it will kill us both. Chapter 1. Aquarius was one of the first zodiac constellations to be discovered. Maris. Anglerfish look beautiful when it's dark and only their headlights are glowing. They dance across the open space as the ocean carnival begins with harmonic music. This is one of my favorite nights of the year, and I struggle to contain my excitement. One of the fishes opens its bioluminescent eyes and bites into the pink balloon in front of it. Luminous color spurts from the angler's mouth, lighting up the sea like a firework. 4 more fish follow their leader, and pretty bursts of fuchsia shoot across the water. Twirling seahorses glide up and down when the lights come back on. Vibrant shades of purple surround us, and I squeeze my best friend Pasha's hand with excitement. See, I knew you could pull it off, I whisper. I'm glad you think so. I really want to join the Royal Events Committee. Pasha has always wanted a job in the performing arts sector, and now we're 18, she's making her aspirations known. You're a natural, I say, as the music becomes louder and faster. If the princess recommends me, I might have a better chance, she hints. I try to applaud her work the best I can, but it's her dedication that will give her a fighting chance of getting the job. For some reason, my father isn't her biggest fan, and it makes it difficult for me to recommend her. I'll tell a few of the royals how good you are. Look at that starfish. Even they look great this year. They tend to miss their cue, but their timings are perfect. The show finishes with all different types of fish swirling around until the music cuts off and they all scram. My father, King Cyrus, shouts, "Welcome to the Ocean Carnival. The festival is now open for all to enjoy." He spreads his arms wide. The mer people swim towards the entertainment, leaving us watching them. I hope to see Rin tonight, I say to Pasha, smiling and feeling giddy. When's your father going to announce your engagement? Pasha asks, but her smile from the carnival has vanished. Don't be sad, we'll still be able to hang out. Since we finished school, we don't see each other as much, but I tried to make time for her. I know, I just wish we could choose who we marry. I'd like to have a mate I love. Don't feel bad for me. Rin seems like a nice merman. Yes, but you hardly know him. That will change once we're married. She frowns but tries to cover it with a fake smile. I don't know what's got into her lately. She doesn't seem to be herself. It could be the stress of organizing the opening sequence for the carnival, but I'm unsure. Every time I try to ask her about it, she changes the subject. Let's go get some clams, she says, tugging me forward. Okay. We swim into the marketplace and help ourselves to the food trays. Butterflies start in the pit of my stomach when I realize who's nearby. My betrothed is talking to one of his friends, and I allow myself the pleasure of admiring him. His thick bronze tail complements my gold, womanly curves. He's like the dark to my light. I have dirty blonde hair, whereas his hair is dark brown. I have one picture of us from New Year, which shows how perfect we look together. I can imagine our beautiful merbabies completing our portrait. I've had a crush on him since school, but only admired him from afar. It would be improper for me to do anything else. When we were matched as a couple, I couldn't believe my luck. I knew my suitor would be from royal blood, but I had no clue it would be him. We haven't spent much time alone yet, as father keeps me on a tight leash, but I'm optimistic we'll be great. Rin's looking this way. I wonder if he liked my entertainment, Pasha says. A warm blush covers her face. She's trying so hard to get the job. I want to help her with the committee by making sure they saw her work. When I get a few minutes in privacy with him, I'll put in a good word, I say. If Pasha's lucky, Rin might mention her role to his mother. She works on the royal board. We smile at him and he waves. It's been over a week since I got time with him. My father keeps a close watch on me when he can, and it's not acceptable for me to be seen without a female escort. I've tried to bring Pasha to one of our get-togethers, but it felt awkward. We've been staring a while before he comes over. Ladies, he says. Hi, Rin, I almost sing out. It's okay to have a crush on your future husband, right? Hey, Pasha says hesitantly. I try to ignore whatever has her on edge. The show was great, Rin says, making Pasha blush. Be sure to recommend her to the committee, I say. My mother saw the performance. His eyes never leave Pasha's, which I hope reassures her. Have you tried the clam? I ask, offering one from my tray. Actually, I'm hungry for something else. What does he mean? He isn't looking at me, and I don't think he's flirting. I could take a swim with you, I smile brightly, but my bubble bursts quickly. I have to go, but we'll catch up later. He hugs us goodbye, then leaves. I wish we had more time together, I say with a sigh. He might not be everything you're expecting him to be, Pasha says. You might be feeling glum, but don't pull me down, I pout. Sorry, Maris, I'm having a strange night, she pauses. I've just remembered there's somewhere I need to be. Oh, okay then, I say, but she's already swimming away. It's odd that she has to leave her debut event. I shake off the negative energy jumping around in my stomach. My father is sitting on his events throne, and I swim to join him. Are you enjoying the carnival delights? He asks. His warm smile settles me, and I try to forget my friend's weird vibes. Yes, Pasha did a fabulous job with the opening ceremony, I say, although I feel like that information is on a script. I've said it so many times. You know I don't like you hanging out with that girl, he says sternly. If only you'd give her a chance, you would see she's kind and caring. You should be socializing with royals like yourself. I don't need to know now you've chosen me a suitor. I'm impressed he picked Ren. He isn't the highest ranking of the royal families, but he is the most handsome. Once you're married, you will have no choice but to find your close circle of allies. Father, you're wrong. All these merfolk have always looked after me. Not everything's as it seems, and I hope you don't find out the hard way. Why is everyone talking in riddles today? Don't be such a worrywart. We enjoy the rest of the evening together before I head to my room at bedtime. My dad is overprotective, but I know it's because he cares. Once the kingdom has settled, I sneak out. I'm careful not to be seen, as that would damage my reputation, but I love spending time alone in the wide ocean. I take my usual path along the coral and up into the shallow water. Atlantis looks so small from up here. When I reach the surface, it's dark. There's something beautiful about the moon, even if my father forbids me from coming up here. Apparently, it's dangerous, but I'm always careful. Just like the sea, the land seems calm. I pass through the harbor, free a couple of shrimps from a net, and watch romance blossom on the beach between the humans. The hours pass me by and the sun begins to rise. The reflection shimmers over the water, and the first couple of fishermen are already approaching, which means it's my time to leave. Now I don't have the shadows to hide in. A human man is walking towards a tatty boat. His facial features are hard but not unkind. I watch him climb on board the rotting wood as I leave the harbor. Why doesn't he make a new one? It's hard to understand humans, but I can't exactly ask him. I decide to make one last stop before returning to my room. It's a secret place I haven't told anyone about, except my best friend. I found the helm of a pirate ship just over a year ago, which is sitting on top of an unopened treasure box. It's silly, but I like to think of it as Pandora's treasure, and opening it would be wrong. It doesn't belong to me, and I don't know the sacrifice made for the treasure to be left here. Sinking down, I return to the deep blue ocean and welcome the colors of the coral. Plants on land don't compare to the beauties under the sea. After a tricky passage through the rocks, I locate the wheel, taking a stance behind it. A noise in the distance has me diving down toward the treasure and out of sight. Laughter echoes around the water as I clutch my chest. I'd recognize that voice anywhere. It's Pasha. I spring up from my hiding spot. The smile on my face quickly fades. She's with Ren, and they look over friendly. Their body language is almost flirtatious, and my mind fills with confusion. He's mine, so why are they together? It's not proper for him to be alone with a mermaid. He embraces her and pulls her into a lingering kiss. My heart moves up into my throat as the passion heats between them. What are you doing? I demand. They jolt apart, both looking away. I'm sorry, Maris, you weren't supposed to find out like this, Pasha says in a high-pitched voice. The guilt of her actions is written all over her face. What is it? I ask, needing her to clarify. Pasha tries to answer, but Rin cuts her off. We're just fooling around, princess. Pasha's face instantly drops into a scowl. I think there's more to their relationship than a few kisses. How could you? Pasha says with a shaking voice. A tear falls down her cheek. I'm the victim here, I say, although I'm more shocked than angry. Poor Maris, poor Maris. You're a princess and get to marry the most beautiful mer in the sea. Her tone is cruel, but I can also hear a hint of sadness. I'm not going to marry him now, I say, unable to hide how insulted I feel. And why is she trying to make me out to be the bad guy? I'll stop seeing her. You're the one I want, Ren says, moving away from Pasha and a little closer to me. Yesterday you couldn't get away from me fast enough. Were you together all night? I think back to them disappearing about the same time. I feel like a fool for not seeing the signs. When I think about it, they've both been acting strangely for a while. I'm sorry, Ren says, scratching his neck. You should be ashamed of yourselves, both of you. I don't wait for them to answer before getting away from the toxicity. The pain I should be feeling never comes, but the anger makes my tail curl. I rush to my father to tell him what's happened. He's out in the statue garden when I arrive. Father, I say when I approach, what's the matter? Why are you in yesterday's shells? Have you been to bed? I've been out to a shipwreck. I saw Rin and Pasha kissing. As soon as the words are out of my mouth, I realize I've made a mistake. My dad's face turns an angry shade of purple. What shipwreck? Do you know how dangerous those places can be? What if a lifeboat had found you? I forbid you from leaving the city. What were you thinking? He shouts. If I wasn't so worked up, I would have revealed my secret, but I don't correct his assumption about it being a new sunken ship. Did you hear me? The wedding's off, I sob. He's missing the point of my confession. We'll talk about this when you've calmed down. I need him to understand I'm not backing down. There's nothing to say. I cross my arms over my chest. Go to your room. He points toward my quarters. My dad's always been strict, but he's always listened to me. I'm not marrying him, I say, hoping he'll agree with me. You'll do as I tell you. I bite down on my lip until it starts to sting. My anger turns to hurt as tears well in my eyes. He's not considering my feelings. When my father told me I was to be mated with Ren, I was crushing hard. I never thought I'd regret not having a choice. I turn back to my dad and head towards my room. Instead of going inside, I do the one thing he told me not to do. I leave the city in search of peace of mind.